The blackboard was clean. 6:30 a.m., Riverside Academy's math corridor. Janitor Robert Chen stood with eraser in hand, looking at last night's equations. Students would arrive at 8. The board needed to be clean, but this equation, Robert stopped. His eyes locked onto the squares, integrals, numbers. This wasn't just high school math, this was the Langland's program, he whispered to himself, the relationship between modular forms and elliptic curves. The eraser in his hand trembled. This problem was an unsolved question that one of MIT's Fields Medal candidates had shared at a conference last year. Robert had been at that conference, back row, listening. Back then he was Professor Robert Chen, now he was just a janitor. But the problem was still there, and the solution was in his mind. He looked around. The corridor was empty. No one had arrived yet. He picked up the chalk. Just one line, he told himself. Just show the direction, then erase it. He started writing. One line became 2, 2 became 5, 5 lines filled half the board. When he stopped, the solution was complete. Elegant, perfect, impossible. Robert set down the chalk, stepped back. 15 years. He hadn't worked with math like this in 15 years, and he could still do it. A sound at the door, footsteps. Robert panicked, grabbed the eraser. Stop! A woman's voice. Sharp, authoritative. Catherine Wells, Riverside Academy's benefactor. 42 years old, the school's largest donor, the mother whose daughter Maya was preparing for the National Math Olympiad. Catherine stared at the board, frozen. Her voice failed. This was an unsolved problem. Dr. Zhang from Princeton asked this at a conference. Is it solvable? He said. No one. Her eyes moved to Robert, to the eraser in his hand, to his hand covered in chalk dust. Did you do this? Robert nodded. I'm sorry. The board needed to be clean. I'll erase it now. No. Catherine lunged forward. Don't erase it. Please, don't erase it. She pulled out her phone, photographed the board, then turned to Robert. Who are you? Robert Chen had been invisible for 15 years. Now a piece of chalk was about to change everything. Robert Chen's story was filled with brilliant beginnings. PhD at 23, MIT, professor at 28. At 32, Chen's lemma, a breakthrough in differential geometry, paper in Nature, TED Talk, NSF grant winner. His wife Linda was an astrophysics professor at Caltech. Both were academic stars. They'd meet at conferences, spend evenings at home debating complex equations. Their daughter Sophia, at age 4, would scribble on her mother's lecture notes. Linda would laugh. Maybe one day she'll be like us. Then that day came. Linda was going to a conference, Boston to New York, a rainy evening. Sophia was home with Robert. When the phone rang, it was 10:47 p.m. Mr. Chen, this is State Police. We need to talk about your wife, Linda Chen. A truck had run a red light, hit Linda's car from the side. Death was instant. She didn't suffer, but Robert did. So did Sophia. Sophia was 4 years old and didn't understand why her mother wasn't coming home. Robert didn't know how to explain it to her. MIT gave Robert leave. As long as you need, they said, we'll be waiting. But Robert didn't go back, because Sophia cried every night, asked where's mommy every morning, wanted Linda's sandwiches at every lunch. And when Robert went to an academic conference, or the lab, or his papers, Sophia got worse. He had to make a choice, mathematics or his daughter. He chose. He resigned. MIT tried to keep him. You're a genius, Robert. Don't lose yourself. But Robert replied, I already lost my daughter. Now I need to get her back. He moved from Boston to a New York suburb, a small apartment. Sophia enrolled in a new school, Riverside Academy. A good school. Expensive. But Robert used his savings. He needed a job. Sent his CV. MIT professor, PhD from MIT, publications, awards. No calls came, because he looked overqualified. Who would hire an MIT professor? He'd either leave or try to be the boss. Then he saw a listing at Riverside Academy. Janitor wanted. He applied. Simplified his CV. Just, cleaning experience, reliable, quiet. He was hired. 15 years passed. Sophia, now 12, knew her father was a janitor. But she wasn't ashamed, because her dad made breakfast every morning, helped with homework every night, sat front row at every school play. He never came late, never forgot, never gave up. For Sophia, her father was the best father in the world. No one knew that Robert had once been one of the world's brightest mathematicians, until that morning. Catherine Wells was a different story. 42 years old, widowed, wealthy. Her husband, a tech CEO, had died of a heart attack 10 years ago, left Catherine millions, company shares, and a vast emptiness. To fill it, she started controlling everything. The company, her home, her daughter. Maya was 13, bright, obedient, perfectionist. Catherine hired her the best teachers, sent her to the best courses, provided the best opportunities, and Maya won every competition, every award, every opportunity, but she wasn't happy. Catherine ignored this, because winning was more important than happiness. Winning meant security, safety, never losing. This morning, Catherine had come early to meet with Maya's teacher, young, idealistic, MIT graduate, to discuss Maya's struggles, but entering the corridor, she heard a sound from the math classroom, chalk sound, on the board. She stopped, approached the door, and saw the janitor, she didn't even know his name, was writing on the blackboard. Fast, fluid, with grace. Catherine didn't know mathematics, but she knew scientists, attended conferences, sat in donor meetings, and this was expert level. She pushed the door. Stop! The man grabbed the eraser, panicked. Catherine looked at the board, saw the lines, the symbols, the elegance. This was an unsolved problem, she said, voice full of admiration and shock. From Dr. Zhang's conference. I was there. No one could solve it. She looked at the man. Who are you? The man quietly answered. Robert Chen, janitor. Catherine was confused. No, a janitor can't do this. You're educated. Where did you learn? MIT. Catherine's eyes widened. You studied at MIT. I taught there. Catherine couldn't breathe. She pulled out her phone, Googled, Professor Robert Chen, MIT. A page opened. Photo, young, confident, successful, from 15 years ago. She looked at the man in front of her, older, tired, janitor's uniform. The same person. My God, she whispered. Are you really him? Robert nodded. But why? Why here, doing cleaning? Because my daughter needed me, Robert said simply. And mathematics could wait. Catherine's world tilted. This man, MIT professor, genius, had given up everything for his daughter. Catherine thought of Maya. Every competition, every pressure, every you must be better moment, and she asked herself, what am I doing?
The following days were a strange dance. Catherine agreed to keep Robert's secret. But on one condition, she said, Maya's teacher is inadequate. You'll tutor her privately. $200 an hour. Robert shook his head. I don't want the money. Then for Sophia. A scholarship for her, full. This school is expensive. You agreed, Robert interrupted. But on one condition. You won't pressure Maya. I'll teach her to love it, not to win. Catherine hesitated, then nodded. Okay. The first lesson was in the school library. Maya arrived tense, ready, notebook open. Robert sat down. Why do you do math? He asked. Maya was surprised. Because my mother wants me to. But you? Do you want to? Maya stayed silent. Then in a small voice, I don't know. I always do it. But sometimes I get tired and scared. If I can't win, then you lose, Robert said simply. And that's okay. Maya looked up, shocked. But my mother, your mother loves you. But she's scared of losing because she lost your father. She's afraid of losing you. That's why she holds on so tight. Maya's eyes filled. Robert continued. Mathematics isn't a race. It's an exploration. Every problem is a small mystery. And you're the detective. Trying to solve it. But for fun. From curiosity. Not to win. Maya smiled. For the first time. A slight smile. Now Robert pulled out a paper. I'll ask you a question. But there's no answer. Not yet. Just think. Explore. Have fun. He wrote the question. What is the infinite sum of Fibonacci numbers? Maya looked. This is college level. Yes. But you can start. Take the first step. Then the second. Slowly. No rush. An hour passed. Maya, deep in thought, was scribbling. Robert watched. Guided. But didn't give answers. Finally Maya looked up. I think, maybe the golden ratio. Robert smiled. Maybe, check it. Research, find out. Maya's face glowed. At the door, Catherine was watching. She saw her daughter happy. Real happiness, not from pressure, from discovery, and something broke inside her. Weeks passed like a melody. Robert tutored Maya, but not just mathematics. He taught curiosity, patience, the beauty of failure. Every wrong answer, he'd say, brings you one step closer to the right one. Edison failed 1,000 times, but he never gave up. Maya changed, less tense, more curious. She saw problems not as tasks, but as puzzles. Catherine changed too. She pressured Maya less, listened more. One night, when Maya couldn't solve a problem, Catherine said, "It's okay. Try again tomorrow." Maya was shocked. "Really? Really?" Catherine smiled. Sophia and Maya became friends. Both loved mathematics, but for different reasons. Sophia, to remember her mother. Maya to find herself. They worked together. Robert gave them hard problems. They solved together, laughed, argued, learned. Catherine started talking more with Robert. "Why did you really quit?" she asked one day. "Because when Linda, my wife, died, Sophia broke, and I could either focus on mathematics or on her. I couldn't do both. I had to choose." "Do you regret it?" Robert paused. "No. Because Sophia is happy, healthy, strong. If I'd stayed at MIT, maybe she wouldn't be." Catherine bowed her head. "I made a choice too. I controlled Maya. Because I was afraid of losing her. But I was losing her anyway. Just in a different way." "You can change it now," Robert said gently. Catherine smiled. "I am changing." The National Math Olympiad arrived. Maya participated in the competition. But this time, it was different. She didn't have to win. She just had to do her best. Catherine sat in the audience. Next to her were Robert and Sophia. Together, they supported Maya. The final problem was red, difficult. An unsolved variant. A mix of topology and number theory. Maya wrote, stopped, thought, wrote again. 1 hour passed. Catherine wasn't nervous, just watching. Sophia whispered, "Maya will solve it. I trust her." Robert smiled. "Me too." 2 hours passed. Maya wrote the final line, submitted the paper. Results were announced. Maya came in second. Catherine stood, applauded. Maya went on stage, received the medal, smiled, then looked at her mother. Catherine was smiling, proud but without pressure. Maya came down, hugged her mother. "I came second." Maya said, "Are you disappointed?" "No." Catherine whispered, "I'm proud. Because you did your best, and you're happy." For the first time since her father's death, Maya truly felt at home. A few weeks later, Robert received an envelope from MIT. "Dear Professor Chen, new research is being conducted on your Chen's lemma. You are invited to the conference as a speaker." Robert showed the envelope to Sophia. "Will you go, Dad?" Sophia was excited. Robert hesitated. "I don't know. It's been a long time, and your school." "Dad," Sophia held his hand. "Mom would want you to go, would want you to share your mathematics, and I want you to too. Go." "I'm fine." Robert saw the maturity in his daughter's eyes. She was 12, but so much wiser. "Okay," he said, "I'll go, but you're coming too." "Really? Really, I'm proud of you, and I want to show you to the world." The conference was at MIT. Robert entered for the first time in 15 years. Same corridors, same classrooms, but different feelings. It used to feel like home. Now it felt like a museum, a monument to his past. The conference hall was full. 200 mathematicians, professors, PhD students, researchers. Robert took the stage. Sophia sat in the front row, Catherine and Maya beside her. "Hello," Robert began. "My name is Robert Chen. 15 years ago, I taught here. Then I left to take care of my daughter." Some in the hall whispered, some nodded. "Today, I won't tell you something new, but I'll remind you of something old. Mathematics isn't just equations, it's people. It's connections, it's love." He projected a slide on the screen. Sophia's drawing, done in colored pencils, Fibonacci spiral. "This is my daughter Sophia's work, 12 years old. She doesn't do math because she's forced. She does it because she loves it. Her mother, my wife Linda, taught her," and I continued. Another slide, Maya's solution. A topology problem. "This is my student Maya's work, 13 years old. She used to do it to win, now she does it to discover." Robert paused. "Mathematics is beautiful, but only if it's meaningful. Only if it touches someone, only if it changes a life. Silence in the hall, then applause, slow at first, then powerful. Robert left the stage. Sophia hugged him. That was wonderful, Dad. Thank you, sweetheart. You're wonderful. Catherine approached. Robert, MIT wants to talk to you. They want you to come back. Robert hesitated. But, Catherine smiled. I told them it has to be part-time, because I want you to work with me at Riverside, as a teacher, to help students love mathematics. Robert looked up. Really? Really? The salary is less than MIT's, but the flexibility is more, and Sophia will be close. Robert looked at Sophia. She was smiling. I accept, Robert said. 2 years later, Riverside Academy's math department was one of the best in the country because Robert Chen taught there. Part-time, flexible, passionate. His students won olympiads, but more importantly, they were happy. Sophia was 14, following in her mother's footsteps. Astrophysics, but like her father, with a love of teaching. Maya was 15, early acceptance to MIT, but she deferred a year. I want to explore more, she said. No rush. Catherine sold her company, focused full-time on Riverside Academy, founded a fund, the Linda Chen Mathematics Scholarship, in memory of Robert's wife, provided scholarships to children of parents who had lost daughters. Robert visited Linda's grave with Sophia. Mommy, Sophia whispered. Dad is teaching again now, and he's happy. We love you. Robert knelt by the stone. I made you a promise, Linda. I said I'd take care of Sophia. I did, but now I'm doing something more. I'm sharing mathematics, in your name, in our name. Wind blew, leaves rustled. Robert stood, held Sophia's hand. Together they walked, father and daughter, toward the calling future, because sometimes, the greatest discoveries aren't on blackboards, they're in hearts. The end.